The research station shook violently as Commander Troy Washington tried to keep control of the ship. Outside the windows, space itself was breaking apart like shattered glass. The entropy swarm had arrived, and they were consuming everything in their path, planets, stars, entire solar systems disappearing into nothingness. Dr. Keisha Washington held their baby daughter close to her chest. Little Zara was only 3 months old, but she might be humanity's last hope. Keisha's hands flew across the computer terminal, desperately uploading years of research data before it was too late. Troy, the bonding experiments worked, she said, her voice shaking. Humans and dragons can share power. If our research is right, Zara has the genetic coding that could save everyone. Troy looked at his wife and daughter, knowing these might be their final moments together. The station's walls were starting to crack as the hungry void pressed closer. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the corridors. Suddenly the air shimmered and grew thick. Ancient power filled the room as Thyros, the last of the old dragons, appeared through the collapsing walls. His black scales reflected the dying stars outside, and his golden eyes held the wisdom of 3,000 years. "Give the child to me," Thyros said, his deep voice rumbling like thunder in the distance. "I will keep her safe." For centuries, Thyros had watched civilizations rise and fall. He had seen species emerge from nothing and disappear into history. But something about this human family was different. Their love, their determination to protect their child even as death approached, it stirred feelings in his ancient heart that he thought had died long ago. Keisha looked into the dragon's eyes and saw something she hadn't expected. Kindness. Gentleness. This mighty creature, older than most stars, was offering to protect her baby. "Promise me," she whispered, placing Zara in Thyros's massive but careful claws. "Promise me you'll tell her about us. About Earth. About what we tried to do." "I swear it," Thyros replied softly. As the research station began to tear apart, something miraculous happened. Baby Zara looked up at the ancient dragon and their eyes met. In that moment, power flowed between them like electricity. Dragon magic and human potential touched each other for the first time in the universe's history. The infant's small hand reached out and touched one of Thyros's scales. Light erupted from the contact point, creating a protective barrier around them both. The dragon felt his depleted energy reserves suddenly filling with new strength he hadn't experienced in centuries. "Impossible," he breathed, staring down at the tiny human in amazement. Troy and Keisha smiled through their tears as they watched their daughter connect with the dragon. They knew they were about to die, but their child would live. Their research would continue. "Take care of her," Troy said as the walls began to buckle inward. "She's special," Keisha added. "The genetic memories we implanted will activate as she grows. She carries the knowledge of our greatest scientists, our best hopes for the future." Thyros nodded solemnly as he activated his ship's emergency systems. The Starheart materialized around them, its ancient hull designed to survive journeys through impossible spaces. The research station exploded in a brilliant flash of light, taking Troy and Keisha with it. But their sacrifice bought precious seconds for Thyros to escape with their daughter into the chaotic void of dying space. As they fled through the collapsing reality, baby Zara slept peacefully in the dragon's arms. She seemed completely unafraid, as if she somehow knew she was protected. Every few minutes she would make small cooing sounds, and each time she did, Thyros felt another surge of unexpected power flow through his ancient body. He had lived for 3 millennia without understanding what humans meant when they talked about love. But holding this tiny, vulnerable creature as space-time shattered around them, he finally began to comprehend why her parents had sacrificed everything to save her. Behind them, the entropy swarm continued its relentless advance, consuming the last remnants of human civilization. 3 great galactic empires were falling simultaneously, their billions of citizens facing extinction. The universe itself seemed to be dying. But in the small cabin of the Starheart, hope survived. An ancient dragon cradled a human infant, and together they began a journey that would either save everything or watch it all burn to nothing. The child carried more than just her parents' love. Hidden in her developing brain were the collected memories and knowledge of humanity's greatest minds. As she grew, those memories would awaken, and with them, abilities that could reshape reality itself. Thyros looked down at baby Zara and made a promise that would echo across the stars. "I will protect you, little one. Whatever it costs me." The Starheart flew through space that no longer made sense. Where stars used to shine, there were now holes in reality itself. Thyros gripped the ship's controls as they jumped through hyperspace lanes that twisted and folded like broken mirrors. Behind them, 3 entire galactic empires were crumbling at once. Baby Zara sat in a specially made seat next to the dragon, completely calm despite the chaos outside. She was 6 months old now, and every day she seemed to grow stronger. Thyros had noticed something incredible. Whenever his ancient power started to fade from the dangerous jumps through damaged space, just being near the child somehow restored his strength. How is this possible? He muttered to himself, checking his energy readings for the 10th time. By all the laws he understood, they should both be dead. The radiation levels outside would kill most beings instantly, and the twisted physics of war-torn space should have torn their ship apart. But Zara just giggled and reached her tiny hands toward the viewing screen, as if the swirling chaos outside was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Their first rescue came 3 days later. Thyros detected a faint distress signal from a destroyed battle cruiser floating in the wreckage of what used to be the Centauri system. Captain Devon Hayes was trapped in the wreckage with a broken leg and failing life support. "Who are you?" Hayes gasped as Thyros pulled him aboard the Starheart. "Someone trying to keep hope alive," the dragon replied simply. Hayes stared in amazement at baby Zara, who was playing with floating toys that glowed with soft dragon magic. "Is that a human child? I thought they were all gone." "Not all," Thyros said firmly. "And she's more important than you know." As they traveled deeper into the war zone, they found more survivors. Dr. Tasha Williams was rescued from a research station that had been drifting powerless for weeks. Engineer Rico Santos was pulled from an escape pod just before it ran out of air. Each time they brought someone new aboard, Thyros noticed the same thing: the protective field around baby Zara grew stronger. "Sir," Dr. Williams said one evening as she ran scans on the infant, "this child's brain patterns are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like she's processing information from multiple sources simultaneously." Thyros nodded grimly. Her parents implanted genetic memories before she was born. The knowledge of humanity's greatest minds is slowly awakening in her developing brain. Captain Hayes, who had become their unofficial military leader, studied the sensor readings with growing amazement. "The energy signatures coming from her are broadcasting across frequencies we didn't even know existed. It's like she's sending out a beacon." "A beacon for what?" Rico asked nervously. Their answer came 2 weeks later when they encountered something that made even Thyros's ancient heart skip a beat. A massive bioship of the Entropy Swarm had been tracking them, following the strange energy signature that Zara unconsciously projected. "All hands, brace for emergency jump," Thyros announced as the alien vessel opened fire with weapons that deleted sections of spacetime. But as they prepared to flee, baby Zara stood up in her seat for the first time. Her eyes began to glow with soft golden light, and suddenly the Starheart's shields became 10 times stronger than they should have been. "What's happening?" Dr. Williams shouted over the alarms. "She's protecting us," Thyros said in wonder. "The child is channeling power I didn't know humans were capable of accessing." The bioship's weapons struck their shields and simply bounced off, as if hitting an immovable wall. Confused, the alien vessel hesitated for just a moment, long enough for Thyros to jump them to safety. As they emerged in a quiet sector near the edge of known space, everyone stared at baby Zara, who had returned to playing with her toys as if nothing had happened. "How many more are out there?" Captain Hayes asked quietly. "How many humans are still alive?" "Not many," Thyros admitted. "But each one we save makes her stronger. And she makes all of us stronger in return." Dr. Williams pulled up a star chart showing the devastation spreading across the galaxy. "The entropy swarm is consuming everything. 3 empires, billions of lives, entire star systems just gone." "Then we'd better find somewhere safe to make our stand," Rico said, checking their supplies. Thyros looked down at Zara, who had fallen asleep in her chair. Even sleeping, she radiated a warm energy that made everyone aboard feel hopeful despite the darkness surrounding them. "I know a place," he said finally. "Somewhere the first human colony ships once hid when they were fleeing Earth. A pocket dimension that exists between realities." "Will it be safe?" Captain Hayes asked. Thyros touched Zara's forehead gently with one claw, and she smiled in her sleep. "As safe as I can make it," he promised. "We're going to need time for her to grow, to learn to control her abilities. Because if my suspicions are correct, this child isn't just humanity's last hope, she might be the key to saving the entire universe." The Starheart changed course, heading for coordinates that existed on no official charts, carrying its precious cargo toward a sanctuary where dragons and humans could prepare for the final battle against the hungry dark. The hidden dimension felt like stepping into a dream. Thyros guided the Starheart through what looked like empty space, but suddenly they were somewhere else entirely. Ancient structures floated in the void, massive ships from Earth's first colony expeditions, now serving as the foundation for their secret refuge. "Welcome to Haven," Thyros said softly as baby Zara pressed her face against the viewing window, her eyes wide with wonder. The survivors they had rescued worked together to create a home in this impossible place. Captain Hayes organized patrols and defenses. Dr. Williams set up a medical bay in one of the old colony ships. Rico Santos got the life support systems running better than they had in centuries. But it was Maya Chin, a teacher they had found drifting in an escape pod near the Vega system, who became most important to young Zara's development. "Tell me about Earth again," 5-year-old Zara would say, sitting cross-legged in front of Maya's holographic displays. "Earth was beautiful," Maya would begin, showing images of blue oceans and green forests. "Your parents lived there when they were young before they became scientists and traveled to the stars. They loved music and art just like you do." Zara had grown into a bright, curious child who seemed to absorb knowledge like a sponge. But Thyros was starting to worry about her developing abilities. When she was happy, flowers bloomed from nothing in the ship's corridors. When she had nightmares, the metal walls would ripple like water. One morning when Zara was 7, she walked into the common area speaking in a voice that wasn't her own. "The quantum resonance field shows promising results," she said in the exact tone of Dr. Elena Vasquez, a physicist who had died years before Zara was born. "We should increase the power coupling by 15%. Maya dropped her coffee cup in shock. "Zara? Sweetie, are you okay?" The little girl blinked and looked around confused. "I'm sorry, Miss Maya. I was dreaming about numbers and equations. Did I say something strange?" Dr. Williams ran scans on Zara that evening while Thyros watched nervously. "The genetic memories are activating faster than we expected," she explained. "Her brain is accessing knowledge from dozens of brilliant scientists. Sometimes their personalities surface when she's processing complex information." "Is it hurting her?" Thyros asked, his ancient voice filled with concern. "I don't think so. But we need to help her understand what's happening." As Zara grew older, her abilities became stronger and more unpredictable. At age 9, she accidentally created a small pocket of reverse gravity while playing, causing everyone in the room to float to the ceiling. At 10, she had a vivid dream that reshaped an entire section of the ship, turning a storage bay into a beautiful garden filled with earth plants that shouldn't have been able to exist. "Uncle Thyros," she said one evening as they sat together watching the strange stars of their hidden dimension. "I can hear voices sometimes. Not scary voices," she added quickly, seeing his worried expression. "Nice voices. They're trying to teach me things." "What kind of things?" Thyros asked gently. "How to fix broken space. How to make new stars. How to fight the hungry dark that's eating everything." She looked up at him with eyes that seemed far too old for her young face. "They say you and I are connected now. That what happened when we first met changed both of us." Thyros nodded slowly. He had felt the change too. In quiet moments, he could sense Zara's emotions, her dreams, her growing understanding of the universe. And she seemed to instinctively know things about dragon magic that should have taken centuries to learn. Their peaceful sanctuary was disrupted one day when 15-year-old Kevin Martinez, one of their newest rescues, detected massive energy disturbances at the edge of their dimension. "Something's trying to break through," he reported to Captain Hayes. "The barriers are holding, but whatever's out there is getting stronger." That night, Zara woke up screaming. Not the normal nightmares of a child, but something deeper and more terrifying. The walls of her room began to crack, and reality itself seemed to bend around her. "They found us," she gasped as Thyros rushed to comfort her. "The hungry dark. They followed our trail through the broken spaces. Through the viewing ports, they could see tears appearing in the fabric of their dimension. Dark shapes moved in the spaces between, probing for weaknesses." "How long do we have?" Dr. Williams asked. Maya pulled up calculations on her tablet, her face pale. "At the rate they're tearing through our defenses, maybe a few days. Maybe less." Zara stood up straighter, and for a moment she looked like the adult she was destined to become rather than the teenager she still was. "I need to learn faster. The voices in my head, they're trying to show me something important. Something about what my parents discovered." She looked at Thyros with tears in her eyes. "I think I know why you were able to save me, Uncle. And I think I know what we have to do to stop the entropy swarm. But you're not going to like it." The ancient dragon knelt down to her level, placing one gentle claw on her shoulder. "Tell me, little one. Human consciousness and dragon essence can bond permanently. Not just sharing power like we do now, but becoming one being that exists across multiple realities at the same time. My parents found the genetic key to make it possible. She paused, struggling with words too big for her age. But it means one of us has to give up what we are to save everyone else. And Uncle, I don't think it's supposed to be me. The reality tears were getting bigger every hour. 15-year-old Zara stood at the observation deck, watching dark shapes move in the spaces between dimensions. The entropy swarm had found their sanctuary, and their protective barriers were failing. How much time do we have left? Captain Hayes asked Dr. Williams as she studied the readings. Maybe 12 hours before they break through completely, she replied, her voice tight with worry. Zara closed her eyes and felt the voices of 1,000 human scientists speaking in her mind. Their knowledge was fully awakened now, flooding her consciousness with theories and equations that would have taken lifetimes to learn naturally. She understood things about the universe that even Thyros, with all his ancient wisdom, couldn't grasp. I know what my parents discovered, she announced to the assembled survivors. Everyone in their makeshift family had gathered: Maya, Rico, Kevin, Dr. Williams, Captain Hayes, and dozens of others they had rescued over the years. The bond between humans and dragons isn't just about sharing power, Zara continued. It's about creating something entirely new. When human consciousness permanently merges with dragon essence, the result can exist across multiple realities simultaneously. Past, present, and future become accessible. Thyros felt a chill run down his ancient spine. Zara, what are you saying? I'm saying we can stop the entropy swarm. We can even reverse the damage they've caused, bring back the consumed galaxies and lost civilizations. But it requires a complete fusion, one consciousness becoming something that transcends normal existence. Maya stepped forward, her teacher's instincts kicking in. Sweetie, that sounds incredibly dangerous. What happens to the individual personalities? Zara's eyes filled with tears. They merge completely. The human and dragon become one being, but they can never be separated again. It's not death, but it's not the same as living either. Rico Santos, now their chief engineer, pulled up holographic displays showing the approaching bioships. Look, I don't understand all this mystical stuff, but those things out there have consumed 3 entire galactic empires. If we don't do something soon, there won't be a universe left to save. The debate that followed was intense. Some survivors argued they should try to run again, find another hiding place. Others wanted to attempt a direct fight using conventional weapons. But deep down, everyone knew that Zara and Thyros represented their only real hope. I'll do it, Zara said quietly, her young voice carrying ancient determination. I'll merge with Uncle Thyros and stop the swarm. No, Thyros said firmly, his deep voice rumbling through the chamber. Absolutely not. You have your whole life ahead of you. I've already lived for 3,000 years. But the genetic modifications, the stored memories, they're in me, not you, Zara protested. I'm the one designed for this. Kevin, who had become like a big brother to Zara over the years, spoke up. Wait, let me get this straight. One of you has to sacrifice your individual existence to save the universe. That's what the research indicates, Dr. Williams confirmed grimly. The fusion process requires one consciousness to subsume the other. The dominant personality becomes the foundation for the merged being. Thyros moved closer to Zara, his massive form surprisingly gentle. Little one, I've watched civilizations rise and fall. I've seen the birth and death of stars. But these past 15 years, protecting you, watching you grow, this has been the only time I've truly felt alive. Uncle, please don't talk like that, Zara whispered, touching his scaled snout with her hand. Listen to me, Thyros continued. When I first held you as a baby, I felt something I'd never experienced in 3 millennia. Well, not just affection or duty, but pure, unconditional love. You gave meaning to my existence. Outside, the first bioship broke through their dimensional barrier. Alarms began blaring throughout the sanctuary as reality itself started to unravel at the edges. We're out of time, Captain Hayes announced. Whatever we're going to do, it has to be now. Zara stood up, her 15-year-old frame somehow radiating the authority of someone much older. The genetic memories of humanity's greatest minds were fully integrated now, giving her access to knowledge that spanned centuries. I understand the process completely now, she said. The fusion isn't really a sacrifice, it's a transformation. We don't lose ourselves, we become something greater than either of us could be alone. Maya grabbed her hand desperately. Zara, you're still just a teenager. You have so much life left to live. Do I? Zara asked sadly, looking around at the tears appearing in their reality. Look around us, Maya. The universe is dying. If we don't act, there won't be any life left for anyone. Thyros knelt down to her level, his ancient golden eyes meeting her young brown ones. Are you certain about this, little one? I've been certain since I was 10 years old and started having the dreams, she replied. The voices showed me what would happen. This is why you found me, why you were able to save me when everyone else died. We were meant to do this together. The bioships were pouring through the dimensional breach now, their alien forms twisting spacetime as they approached. In minutes they would reach the sanctuary. I love you, Uncle Thyros, Zara said, taking his massive claw in both her small hands. And I love you, daughter of my heart, he replied, feeling his immortal essence beginning to resonate with her human soul. The final battle was about to begin. The bioships of the entropy swarm filled the sky like a plague of locusts, their twisted forms bending reality wherever they moved. The sanctuary's final barriers crackled and sparked as alien weapons tore through dimensions that shouldn't have been possible to breach. Zara and Thyros stood together in the center of the main chamber, surrounded by their chosen family. Captain Hayes gripped his weapon uselessly, knowing that conventional firepower meant nothing against enemies that could delete entire star systems. Maya clutched her teaching materials, tears streaming down her face as she watched the girl she'd helped raise prepare for the ultimate sacrifice. Everyone needs to get back, Dr. Williams warned, reading energy spikes on her instruments. The fusion process is going to release massive amounts of power. I'm not leaving, Maya said stubbornly. Zara needs to know we're here with her. Rico nodded agreement. We've been a family for 15 years. We stay together. Zara looked around at the people who had become her world. These survivors had given up everything to protect her, to help her grow into who she needed to become. Now it was her turn to protect them. Thank you, she whispered, her voice carrying to every person in the chamber. Thank you for loving me, for teaching me, for showing me what it means to be human. The first bioship broke through the inner defenses, its alien scream echoing across 17 dimensions simultaneously. Dark energy poured from its weapons, beginning to consume the very structure of their sanctuary. Now, Uncle, Zara said, placing both hands on Thyros's massive chest. Now, little one, he replied, lowering his great head until their foreheads touched. The fusion began slowly, like two streams meeting to form a river. Thyros felt his ancient consciousness expanding as Zara's human awareness flowed into him. Her memories became his memories, her first steps, her laughter while playing with Maya, her quiet conversations with Dr. Williams about science and wonder. But something unexpected was happening. Instead of one consciousness absorbing the other, they were creating something entirely new. The dragon's immortal wisdom merged with human curiosity and adaptability. His magical power combined with her genetic memories of humanity's greatest innovations. It's working, Dr. Williams breathed, watching readings that defied every law of physics she knew. Light erupted from the fusion point, not harsh and blinding, but warm like sunrise after the longest night. Zara's physical form began to shimmer and expand while Thyros's ancient body dissolved into pure energy that wrapped around her like protective wings. I can see everything, Zara's voice said, but it was deeper now, layered with harmonics that hadn't existed before. Past, present, future, all of it happening at once. The bioships had surrounded their sanctuary, preparing for the final assault. But as the transformation continued, something impossible began to happen. The dark energy weapons that had consumed galaxies simply stopped working when they touched the light radiating from the merged being. Uncle Thyros, are you still there? Zara asked, her voice now a perfect blend of human emotion and dragon wisdom. I'm here, little one. I'm part of you now and you're part of me. We're something the universe has never seen before. Kevin, watching in amazement, pointed to the viewing screens. Look, the bioships are backing away. The entropy swarm, which had never encountered anything it couldn't consume, was retreating in confusion. Their alien minds couldn't process what they were seeing, a being that existed across multiple realities, immune to their reality-devouring weapons. But Zara wasn't content to just defend. The genetic memories in her mind showed her the truth. The swarm wasn't evil, just hungry. They consumed realities because they didn't know how to create. Let me show you, she said, her voice carrying across dimensions to reach the alien collective consciousness. With a gesture that seemed to move through time itself, Zara began to reverse the damage. Consumed galaxies bloomed back into existence. Dead stars reignited. Lost civilizations found themselves alive again, confused but grateful. The entropy swarm stopped attacking entirely, overwhelmed by the demonstration of creative power instead of destructive force. For the first time in eons, they experienced something other than endless hunger. Maya watched through tears as her student, now transformed into something magnificent and impossible, reached out with dragon wings made of starlight to embrace the entire universe. "She's healing everything," Captain Hayes whispered in wonder. "They're healing everything," Dr. Williams corrected. "Thyros is still there with her." The process took what felt like hours but was actually occurring outside normal time. When it finished, the universe was not just restored but improved. New species emerged that carried both human ingenuity and dragon wisdom. Planets that had never known life suddenly bloomed with forests and oceans. The bioships of the entropy swarm had transformed too, no longer twisted instruments of consumption but beautiful vessels that helped spread life instead of destroying it. "Is it over?" Rico asked quietly. Zara turned to look at her family, and they could see both her teenage smile and Thyros's ancient kindness in her transformed features. "It's just beginning," she said. "The universe is safe now, but there's so much more to explore, to create, to discover." Maya stepped forward hesitantly. "Will you stay with us?" "I'll always be with you," Zara replied, her dragon wings folding around the group in an embrace that felt like coming home. "Every sunset you see, every act of courage, every time someone chooses to protect the innocent, that's Uncle Thyros and me watching over our family." The sanctuary had become unnecessary. The entire universe was safe now, protected by a guardian who had chosen love over eternity, sacrifice over self-preservation. And in the restored cosmos, children would grow up hearing the story of the dragon who shielded a human baby with his wings, and the girl who loved him enough to become something greater than either could have been alone.